Hey everyone, welcome back. And today we're going to talk tyres for the X5. We're in need of some replacements. They're getting a bit low. So I'll just talk you through what I looked at and the ones that we're possibly going to go for. So on the fronts at the moment we've got Bridgestones. It's a staggered setup, so they're slightly narrower wheels on the front. And on the rear they're sort of 315 widths, Dunlops, so run flats. All tyres have lasted probably about 20,000+ miles, so they've done pretty well. But got the usual wear on the inners and outs. So here's some options. Let's take a look. Okay, so now's the fun bit. We get to search for some new shiny tyres. So we're going to search by tyre size. We'll start with the rears first, which are 315 width. The profile is 35. Rim size is 20 inches. Speed rating doesn't really matter. And obviously it's for a BMW. I'll enter postcode. Let's go fully fitted. Okay, let's have a look. Right, so for my particular choice, I'm going to go for run flats. I know that can be fairly controversial, but you know, it's a family SUV. My wife drives it more than anyone. We don't really have room to put a spare wheel. I know the ride is compromised somewhat, but you know, let's go with run flats. I think it's the best option. If it was perhaps more of a sports car, then I'd probably go avoid run flats and just have a space saver or something, but we're going to go run flats and let's see what that changes. All right, so we've got a few options. We won't go with the recommended at the moment because you know, that's just what the site's recommending. So let's look at the budget options. So we've got Pace. I've not heard of Pace before. Radar, Infinity, and the Bridgestones. I mean, they're not fairly budget, are they, at that price? Almost double the price of the budget. So let's look at the first two or three. My personal preference again is not to go with budget. You know, that's not to say they're not good tyres. That's just personal preference of mine. If you know, my always thinking is always go with the most you can afford. So let's kind of push on. The Bridgestones are an option. I have those on the front at the moment. They've probably done about 25,000 miles. Still okay. They were fitted by the previous owner. But let's see what other options we've got. So then we're getting into sort of the kind of mid to premium, and we have Continentals, which is an interesting choice. Again, quite expensive, but you know, you'd expect that at this size. The Dunlops, which are the ones I bought for the rear, so they've been on the rear again for a good 20,000 miles. They've worn pretty well, pretty evenly as well. Pirellis I don't know much about, and then obviously Michelin's. They may be the winter tyres, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, so we don't have much in the way of options really when it comes to sort of this site in particular. I'll obviously have a shop around, but let's see what the fronts offer up. So the fronts are, obviously it's staggered, so the fronts are 275. That's a 40 profile because obviously that's a percentage of the width. And it would look a bit like a dragster if you had the same profile at the back. 20-inch speed rating, again, doesn't matter. So let's have a look at that. The Bridgestones are coming up, so the Jeweler HP Sport. Again, the Dunlop Sport Max GTs. Shame the Alenza Bridgestones aren't available because you know they've got great ratings on fuel efficiency and rolling resistance and wet performance, but you know we don't have that option on the rear. What else have we got as we go premium? So the Continentals are available. They're Star Mark tyres, so they've got the BMW approval. Same with the Pirellis actually, which is interesting. I didn't really expect that to be an option. Michelin's are obviously available. Fairly reasonable price at that size rim. So yeah, we don't really have much of an option. we only have those sort of 3 or 4. So we have the Pirellis, possibly the Michelins, Continentals, Bridgestones, and the Dunlops. So I think what I'm going to go for, I have the Bridgestones on the front at the moment. I have the Dunlops on the rear, and I'm purely going to go on the fact that they have a slightly better fuel efficiency rating. Yes, they're an extra, I guess 20 pounds per tyre, so 40-50 quid per axle. But let's see if that does actually make a difference to the efficiency, if we're seeing the efficiency go up. So I think I'm going to go for the Dunlops. We'll get those booked in, and next we'll get them fitted and have a drive and see what they're like. So we've had about 400 miles to bed the tyres in. I've got to say I've been pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting too much of a difference considering we've got Dunlops on the rear already. But with them all around, it's a fantastic ride, super quiet, really nice on motorways. We took it off-road a little bit and it handled really nicely. Obviously it's not a proper off-roader, but it did really, really well. So overall, I can really recommend the Dunlop SP Sport Max GT run flats for the X5. They're absolutely fantastic, and big thumbs up from me. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.